Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's We Roguelike It. We are playing a whole bunch of roguelikes, and this time we're playing Rogue Legacy 2. I'm your host, Boston. I'm playing this on the Series X, joined as always by Moonpeer.
The also Series X. Thank
Um,
you. Great consoles.
that's right. Um, so I have history with the previous game, but if my memory serves correctly, this is the first Rogue Legacy thing you're playing?
Correct. I have
Okay,
never played any of the Rogue Legacy games. I believe the first
okay.
one didn't come out on Xbox, I think. Or if it did, it came out a long time after.
Yeah, I think you're right. I should have looked that up beforehand. But
Because
yeah,
I'm
man.
pretty sure it was in early access, Steam, Switch, everything else first.
Yeah.
And then it was, oh.
Yeah, I played a lot of the first game. I got to the point where I could easily beat the final boss, and I was like fighting through all the secret, super difficult optional bosses too. So I played a lot of that first game. Um, I am very curious to hear what your thoughts are after spending at least a week with Rogue Legacy 2.
Oh, boy. Oh. Okay, so number one, I like the art style. It's not something I love, but it's
Sure.
real crisp and clean that I
Yeah.
genuinely like. I'm not a fan of the controls.
They just like the first one, they take a little getting used to.
There's it's strange the way it feels to control people, and also the fact that the dash is literally just a mobility thing. Don't ever use the dash in combat
No, yeah.
because.
Unless you're
But then
getting
the
away
problem
from
is,
something.
yeah, but then the problem is you have two classes which have guaranteed skill crits, which you need to do dash attacks to do,
Oh,
and you
sure.
can't cancel out with dashes that easily. So it's like,
Right.
okay, great. So these classes are useless to me now. Thank you. Um,
Right.
conceptually, I like the game.
Hmm.
I think. I think
There's
I've
kind of
had a lot
a
of.
lot going on because like
Oh, there's too much going on, dude.
on like a regular run, once you get into the dungeon itself, it's a pretty standard 2D platforming hack and slashy roguelike thing. But
Uh-huh.
the meta progression stuff that they carried over from the first game, where you're improving and building the castle, I think that stuff is still really good.
Yeah, like I love the building up of the castle. I love the unlocking of things. It's too much stuff to build up and too much stuff to unlock that I've found so far.
Yeah,
Um,
they do a little bit better job in this one, I think, of um, marking in the descriptions of items which ones are recommended, where it's like you should take the health up and you should take the carry weight up and you should unlock new classes, and maybe this one about the safe doesn't matter that much, or this training dummy one, that you can probably do without that for a little bit.
yeah, it's difficult to know what to do with what. Like, there's so many
Hmm.
different upgrades. Like, okay, I'm just gonna, I guess, put it into my base stats. I
Right.
guess. I
I
don't
have found
know.
that that's a good way to start, where it's like I'll unlock a couple of classes, but then I'm gonna really worry about like increasing my max health, increasing my default strength and damage. Like that stuff is increasing my carry weight, which is I think new for this one, where you're upgrading your like equipment with blueprints and stuff, which I don't believe was in the first one.
Yeah,
But
like
it has been
there's
a
there's
while.
new there's new armor and stuff to collect. There's
Yeah.
new spells, runes to
Yeah, like
collect.
those seem like they're run modifiers essentially, like permanent run modifiers. It's interesting because so many of the ideas that we kind of bounced off of Loot River for, I feel like
Uh-huh.
are implemented really well in this one to try and make a kind of direct comparison. Um,
Yep. I also unlocked the soul place.
okay, I don't know if I have that
Uh,
one.
and have you beaten one of the bosses yet?
No, not yet. I got so close on the first boss. I fought him a couple times. I got so close once and just
Just you wait. There's a
yeah,
whole other building, a whole other set of challenges, and a whole other
nice.
series of unlocks for you.
That's exciting.
Um, there's a lot. There's way too much in this game, dude. Like I don't know what I should be aiming for. I
I
just don't.
That's sort of the feeling I had when I started the first one, which is like there's a million and one unlocks. There's a lot of stuff, but I just kind of focused on experimenting with as many of the classes and their traits as I could to
Mhm.
kind of figure out like, oh, I like this trait a lot, or I kind of don't like this class, but maybe it's a little bit better with these traits or stuff like that. And I still kind of do that in this one where it's like, all right, I finished a run, I have 1,500 gold, I'm going to spend it on, I don't know, this one looks interesting.
And you'll spend it in like 2 seconds flat. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, by the way, you've still got to spend gold and blood points. And
And like crystals and circle crystals. There's a lot of
Mhm.
currencies in this one at the beginning.
So favorite chests can go straight to hell.
I'm so happy slash angry they're back because it's always like I had one the other day where you needed to essentially jump up this giant kind of chasm, and the challenge for it was no jumping. I was like, why? What? Why? What's wrong
Mhm.
with you? Or like the spike pits one where they're like, no dashing and don't lose health. It's like, who hurt you? Why are you
Yeah.
doing this to me?
How am I gonna get the blood droplets needed to feed the vampire lady who lives at the home base so I
Right,
can get my runes increased?
right.
How?
Um, the one thing that they did not have in the first one is the like kick jump thing, where you push one of the bumpers or you hit down and jump, and they do like that spinny kick thing. Um,
Okay, the down attack, yeah.
yeah, that is new for this one, which is pretty interesting because I feel like in the first game they were fairly limited in kind of the vertical stuff they could do because a lot of it was just like
Mhm.
here's like a Castlevania level where it's just a bunch of like bookshelves that you're jumping off of. But now it's kind of neat where you have some once you unlock like one of the really early skills where it's like, oh, now you can dash in the air, so you're kind of like kick dash, and you're kind of doing that like up and across and zigzagging up a big area, especially like that second area you go to where it has that dock area where you kind of kicking and dashing throughout that whole thing.
Okay. So I was gonna ask if you got the iridescent boots or whatever it is that lets you do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also a new thing for this one, where you like go into a challenge realm and you kind of use the thing that you're gonna go get, which I think is a much needed improvement, especially with all of this stuff you have to do. It's like, yeah, you go into this place that's fairly low risk, and you can kind of try out and nail some of this stuff.
Yeah, and like it even gives you all your health back.
Right,
Like
which is
your HP
great.
and people restored. Yes,
That's
I've
great.
gotten on. Thank you.
That's I have 5
Um,
HP. Thank you.
so have you run across any good traits?
Oh boy, there was a really good one that I liked the
Oh,
other. Oh god,
while you're thinking about that, I'm going to say this off the top here. I'm
sure.
planning on playing this game for 2 weeks with no house rules, and
Hmm.
then the second 2 weeks I'm going to put house rules on.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you do you know what the house rules are?
No.
It's accessibility options.
Oh yeah, they just put those in. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the house rules are things like you don't take damage on contact. Um,
Interesting.
Enemies do less damage or more damage. And when you highlight them, it says, okay, so if you don't take damage on contact, we think this will make the game too easy. So if this is the case, we recommend increasing enemy attack to 150 damage
Oh,
and
cool.
your attack to 90% damage or something like that. So it gives you
Interesting.
like ideas on how to tweak it if a certain
Right.
part of it is going to affect you. You can
Interesting.
also turn off traits completely. So
And they actually just put out a patch to remove some, like the one where the world gets flipped upside down. so you're running across the ceiling
Oh
and
yeah,
playing that
screw
way.
that.
They got rid of that because it was making people sick, which is great
Good.
because I feel like so many companies would have been just like, oh, well, just don't pick that one. It's like, man, come on, just take it out of the game.
Yeah.
Don't be weird about it.
But yeah, so I'm going to do 2 weeks house rules, 2 weeks
Okay,
non-house rules. Non-house rules first, house rules second.
right, get the kind
Because
of
also
default. Yeah,
it does not affect achievements. Just so you know.
good. Thank you,
Thank you.
Cellar Door Games. I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Um,
But anyway, yes, good traits. Tell me about good traits you found.
yeah, there was one. Gosh, there was one where it was like you do 50% more damage, but you have 25% less total health, I think it was, or maybe those values were flipped. Um, that one was really solid, especially because I got like 2 or 3 rooms in. I got one of those items. You know how they give you the 2 pedestals and you pick one? One of
Mhm.
them did 50 damage to me, but then increased my max HP by 50. And I'm like, well, now I'm just back to normal
Oh, it's
for.
one of the fruits, like the forbidden
Yes,
fruit
the fruits.
things.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, well, now I'm just back to normal and just super powerful. This is great.
Mhm.
Most of my playtime so far has been trying out the new classes because the
Yeah,
mage works differently this time. The archer, my brain is still trying to wrap its head around how to.
I don't like the archer. I don't like the mage.
It's a cool idea, but like being able to fire in the air is neat and it's really strong. But I feel like I have to change my whole playstyle for the archer, which isn't bad, but a lot of the other classes are like the mage is like just try and hit the enemy in the circle and it'll do the most damage. Great. The knight is just like hit the button and slash at him. Great.
Yeah,
Um, Valkyrie is I still don't maybe understand the pluses and minuses of that. I don't think I have anything else unlocked at this point.
barbarian is my boy.
Okay, I think
Um,
that's the one I'm going to unlock next.
Barbarian is 100% my boy because he's got a big old axe.
Hmm.
He will swing it and do a lot of damage. He cannot move while he's attacking. As soon as you hit attack, he plants his feet and
Oh, okay.
swings. But it's a guaranteed skill crit if you're attacking from the ground.
Wow. Okay, that's real strong. Goodness.
Uh-huh. And usually he has an increased health pool as well, which is fantastic.
Nice.
His mana is shorter, but his health is bigger, so I'm fine with that. My
Sure.
favorite relic thing that I got is the one that gives you an orb of attacking around you. So basically, it like
I just got that.
electrifies
Yep.
you.
Yep.
It's so
It
hilarious.
does a lot of
Um,
damage.
so I got some really cool traits. I got what is essentially a devil's deal trait here, which is contrarian.
Hmm.
It can go any way at all,
Mm.
because it randomizes your weapons.
Oh, right. Right.
So you can have, a barbarian who's got a bow, for example.
Right.
Or in my case, I ended up with a barbarian who had a ultra rare hammer.
Okay. Great.
So when the barbarian does a jump attack, they do the spinning jump attack.
Hmm.
So they don't just do like a regular swing; they jump and they do a sonic spin essentially. Just wave their axes around them as they go.
Right.
Um, this whatever this hammer was, it was the Hephaestus hammer, whatever.
Hmm.
The second you hit attack, he just started spinning.
Whoa. That's great.
So I couldn't get a skill crit with it, but literally I would just be walking, spinning across the floor
Right.
towards the enemies as I go. It's like
Man.
that was great. Um, I got the vampirism trait, which I like, which is like
Yes.
50% less HP, but you gain more HP by killing people.
Yep. That's a good one.
And my favorite weird one this week is attuned.
Okay. I don't know that one.
So you used to play shmups,
Yes.
like the hardcore shmups as
Hmm.
well. So attuned gives you a black silhouette as a character
Okay.
and just a little red heart in the middle.
Oh no. Oh no. Moon. I know what that is.
So you only take damage. when that little heart is damaged, you can pass through everything else, but the second that heart is touched, then you take damage.
That's rough. Oh
It
man.
was Dude, it was great because I was a vampire and attuned at the same time,
Oh
so it was
man.
really hard for me to take damage.
I do have to say one of the worst ones I had was you had no window of invincibility after you get hit, which I managed to about halfway through the first area accidentally fall into like one of those spike pits, and I couldn't do an air recovery high enough to hit the platform, so I just kept bouncing back and forth on the spikes, and that's how I died. And I was like, that okay. I learned my lesson on that one, but that sort of sucked.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that will happen real quick.
hmm The
Um,
black and white one is fun, where the whole game
yeah,
goes
that one's
monochrome.
fine.
Yeah,
I don't like the panic attack ones where when you get hit it goes
yeah.
like that one
I'm
sucks.
surprised those ones are back. The ones where
Um,
your character has been bitten by a clown, those ones are pretty fun.
yeah, I like the ones that are visual, that
hmm
only do stupid visual things,
Yeah.
not detrimental visual things.
And some of the visual
Um,
ones are pretty fun in this one where it's like, oh, you've been bitten by a clown. For some reason, you get an extra 25% gold. It's like, cool. It's kind of fun, and I get a little bit of a bonus.
I remember my least favorite trait,
Oh, sure.
pacifist.
Oh, I don't know if I've gotten that one.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
So I got a barbarian, and his other trait was a really good one. It was like do 200% damage or something like that. And I was like,
Jeez.
great,
Let's
that's an
go.
incredible trait. But I don't know what this other trait is, and it's just it says pacifist and it's got question marks. So screw it, I'll pick it, whatever.
Yeah.
What I should have realized was he was standing in the lineup, and instead of holding his axe, he was holding a peace sign.
Oh, no. Like a protest sign?
Uh huh.
Okay.
Cannot do damage.
Oh, no.
Period. End of sentence. Cannot do
Oh,
damage.
oh no. Okay. I love you, Rogue Legacy.
I was so annoyed because I was like, really? I the 200% damage increase is great, but now you got to give me the pacifist as another
Right.
trait. And when you swing the sign, not your axe, your
Right.
sign, which you swing, I'm pretty sure it was doing rainbows as it was going. And I was like, really?
I love these games so much. Oh my god.
I was
Uh,
so annoyed, man, because I was just like, this is a really good build and really
mm,
solid items. And now you made me a pacifist.
oh man. I do like one thing. So in the first game, they did something similar where when you die, it would show you all the enemies you beat. But like in this one, it shows you like the run you did from like room to room and all the enemies you beat and the path you took through the dungeon. I think that's a really cool touch.
Yeah, I really like that. I will say I did figure out a way how to break the game a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on a run as an archer. Have you gone up to the north exit yet? The north zone exit?
Yeah, but that one is usually like, oh, you need these wings or whatever.
Yeah. The default special for the archer produces an ivy platform.
Ah, there you go.
So for poops and fun, I gave it a try
Mm-hmm.
and then made it to the top section
Nice.
and managed to find a chest and unlock a chest piece like 5 slots further down
Oh,
than where I'm
jeez.
currently up to in the
That's
blacksmith.
great.
I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
It's probably pretty good.
I died really easy. Like,
Oh, for
like
sure.
that's
Yeah.
the big takeaway.
Yeah.
Like I was done, but yeah, it was fun and stupid, and I don't know why I did it, but sure, why not? Let's
No,
just do it.
it wouldn't be a roguelike if you couldn't break it a little bit.
True.
No. Yeah, so far I'm having a blast. I think it is kind of carrying the spirit of the first one and kind of making all these improvements and putting a bunch of new stuff in it to kind of make it different enough to be a sequel without kind of missing or without losing kind of the heart of what made the first one so special.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been fun so far. I'm still enjoying messing with the relics. Seems to be a lot of positive and negative ones in this game. Like there's very
Yeah.
few solely positive things. Everything else is just like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So far, it seems cool. Seems like a definite improvement over the last couple of games that we have played that we have not necessarily clicked with, which
Yep.
is kind of nice. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you all next run. Bye.
Bye.